If you want to be able to buy the most expensive players and open the best packs in FC24, go to u7buy.com to buy your EA FC24 coins. It's cheaper than buying FC points and just as reliable. With their already amazing prices, you can get an extra 6% using promo code Inception at checkout. Okay guys, so we just finished doing the review for Martial, so be sure to check that out if you guys haven't already. Apparently, today we have a really crazy evolution. Is this a paid one? I think it might be. It might be a paid one. Let's see. Let us see. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Not objectives. Evolutions. All right, let's see what the new one. Okay, yeah, cool. Sounds good. Tune season upgrade. This is the one. Okay, so it's a paid one. It is a paid one, but you are given the Incisive Pass. Incisive Pass is actually pretty nice. It's a pretty decent playstyle. Trickster, Weak Foot, Power Shot, and Incisive Pass. And then some pretty significant like stat increases as well. That's going to be the main things here. Guys, there's a few cards right now that are trending that look pretty good. I'm not gonna hold you guys. Like they look a little bit crazy if I'm being completely transparent with you. First of all, this Icon Rude Hullet card is already extinct, so he gets a +4 in a rating difference, right? Hullet is still a card who is someone who has a 5-star weak foot. He's high medium work rates. Sure, you work with the agility and balance, but remember, he's a controlled lengthy player. You give this card the Shadow Chemistry style, he's pretty well formatted, right? Playstyle pluses added to the card as well, so he gets Power Header plus on the original card, but then this card gets the Incisive Pass on it as well, right? So on a Shadow, you're working with a card that has good pace, shooting's in a fantastic area, with a 5-star weak foot as well, passing on the cards in the 90s. Dribbling-wise, the only thing that you mainly would have to probably work with is the 79 agility and stuff, but I feel like you would compensate really well, right? Playstyles-wise, he doesn't have like intercept and stuff, right? So this is an interesting one, man, because I never really used Rude Hullet in this year's game unless it was the SPC card, which apparently you can do as well for this thing, right? But from this version, and I don't know, because Hullet usually has like the Hullet sauce, you know, the FIFA sauce, like sometimes, a lot of the times they give it to Hullet. Again, I don't know about this year because I never tried out this version, but yeah. We did still list that Winter Wildcard version as an S tier during the tier list video. They just priced them like crazy during that time period, but EA doing EA things, you know. But yeah, Hullet looks interesting. This card's extinct on the market. A lot of people are probably not going to be able to do that, to be honest, because a little crazy, right? Definitely a little crazy when it comes to that type of stuff. But yeah, Shadow Chemistry style, good pace boost, good defending boost. It looks like an interesting card for sure. If he still has that like special FIFA sauce to him, he's obviously going to be really nice. Ginola. So Ginola's card from this bad boy, if I'm not mistaken, this is the card that was, oh my goodness, he went up 870k. Holy dude. 870k. Wow. What was the improvements? The stat improvements must be crazy. Oh, it's a +4 on him, yeah. I mean, the stat boost is crazy. Don't get me wrong. It is crazy. He's still a little oddly formatted, though. You know what I'm saying? Because this card on an engine still has a 92 for finishing, which is not ideal. But then again, you got to green your strikes as much as possible anyways. And you are working with someone that has a 5-star capability, right? This card over here was already a 5-star 5-star. So people looking into this card... If I remember correctly, was this not an SBC? We did the SBC review for this, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But anyways, Ginola, technical plus, Incisive Pass, also added to the card. It still looks like a card you give an engine to, but like you could probably get away with giving him a Hawk, to be honest. Because Hullet's usually the type of player where it's like, he has low dribbling stats, but he's still better than other physical type attackers that would have similar stats to that. He's one of those types of players for sure. It would have been cool if they gave him like a regular press proven for this evolution too. Definitely would have added to him, but yeah, he's definitely going to be a top choice as well because a lot of people did that SBC if he was the same SBC I'm thinking of, and they probably held on to the card. So now they get an upgraded version of him, right? Hansen also gets an upgrade. She's going to be extinct. Of course. Hansen with the upgrade gets some very significant improvements. Hansen's usually a meta type of player. I have her team of the season card that I use quite a bit, and her balance is low, but she's still a monster in game, right? Like if you have the team of the season version of that card, she still performs really well in game. This card probably formatted for a hunter, I would say. Increase the pace, increase the shooting to be as high as possible. Passing on the card is going to be in a decent area. Dribbling also going to be in a decent area, considering it's Hansen, right? Because a lot of the times, some cards that have dribbling stats like that, like they would be cooked right away, right? But with her, it's a little bit different, I would say. Like you do feel it, but she compensates pretty well, in my opinion, right? Incisive pass being added. She has technical, finesse shot, first touch, quick step, Trivela, trickster as well. You really can't go wrong with an upgrade like that from the rare gold card, right? A lot of pretty crazy selections for this, eh? There's actually a very fair amount of selections, but yeah, Neymar this is his first evolution, I think. Yeah, that's the first evolution card. So big stat improvements, and you can give him a hunter, and it puts him in a pretty meta area. That card's extinct too, probably. Oh, I just went up in price, 7.3k. Interesting. Never tried the team of the season card during that time period, but I lost motivation for reviews during that time period. I was like, anyways, evolution for Neymar, 93 rated, right? Hunter chemistry style, good improvements. Incisive pass is a W for like most of the midfielders and attackers, to be honest with you. In the defensive positions, it's not bad, but long ball pass is better for defensive positions, like the center back position more specifically, because these are for like through passes. So it'd be mostly for like fullbacks, you know what I'm saying? Center backs, like you can utilize too, for sure, but it's, like I said, it's long ball pass more than anything. But yeah, the playstyle being added to these cards, definitely a W, right? Hunter chemistry style puts him in a maximized like pace capacity, right? Like to be proper in the meta of the gameplay. 95 for finishing as a cutoff as well. So some people might go down this route, especially people who have been holding on to their Neymar for like ever, right? Like some people might actually go ahead and improve that, right? Virgil van Dijk gets an improvement from the center back card. I wonder if the champ, I don't remember what version this was. This was like a specific card too. Yeah, this card. Ah, cool. So you can add him into Incisive Pass as well. And this is like a lower rated version, right? That's a 93. And then this one, oh, they're also 93 too. Yeah, because that one I actually have. Like that card's been chilling in my club for a while, but Van Dijk gets the improvement as well. To be fair to him, it's one of those types of things where it's like the stat improvements individually is actually like a big deal. Reason being for this is because on the shadow, you're kind of maximizing his defensive stuff, and it's Van Dijk. Like, I wouldn't really care about saying this for any other center back, but for Van Dijk, sure, you know, acceleration may be low, but if you're playing like a very like defensive oriented tactic, I mean, he's gonna still do work for you. He has all the play styles. He still has the right animations, right? So honestly, from a rare gold card, you really can't go wrong with that. And then from this card, if you still had this as a first owner, you can't go wrong with this one either, right? So it's interesting, right, that he gets one as well. Okay, so just finished uploading the Martial card, so be sure to check it out if you guys haven't already. Moving back. Let's see what else we got here. So Ginola, Van Dijk. So this is the other version, right? The Winter Wildcard version. People will definitely look into this one because I actually don't really believe... Well, I do believe that some people at some point probably put this whole into an SBC, which, let's be real, you're a little bit crazy for doing that because the card was so expensive during that time period, but a good card, right? A very good card. Hence why we put him in the S tier category of the SBCs that you should probably complete if you can, right? During that time period. But Ruud Gullit gets a pretty significant stat increase as well. He's got some sauce to him. I don't know if he would still hold on to some sauce right now, but I mean, he actually looks pretty decent still, I would say. This card, you would go in the direction of either giving him a shadow chemistry style or an anchor chemistry style, right? To make sure that you keep that physical presence with the card, right, in the defensive position. Some people, even during that time, people were using him as like a center back and stuff. But a lot of the times, I think like meta for the game nowadays, it would probably be used like one of two CDMs, 4-3-2-1, right down the middle, that sort of deal, right? But yeah, no, his play styles, You know, he does have a few different ones to work with. He does not have an intercept, right? So you would have to see what that's like in the game nowadays, especially after that patch, right? The 2 or 3, 4 patches ago, the big one, right? The one where they changed the defending and the dribbling. You would have to check that out, right? Because obviously those are very significant improvements as well, right? So Eder Militao, so he gets an upgrade from the birthday card, which is interesting because it turns him into a 5-star, 4-star player, which is definitely very interesting. This card turning into a 5-star, 4-star player with a shadow chemistry style, he does look well formatted for the most part, right? He is a controlled lengthy player on that. You could probably even give him the anchor chemistry style, right, to keep that part of the card on him. Because I think in the past he never used to be a lengthy. He might have just been a controlled, which obviously messed with the card a little bit, right? But nowadays, you know, you can give him that pace boost, make him the medium high work rated card. He now has 3 different playstyle pluses to work with. Incisive pass, again, not as relevant to give to him, but with this card, it's more of like the stat improvements, right? But with center backs, like, I'm not sure exactly how this card will perform in game in the center back position, because you guys know I always tell you guys, go full meta in the center back position as much as possible. So I'd probably avoid this one in comparison to some of the other cards you could potentially go with, especially in the fullback, midfielders, attackers position, because incisive passes, in my opinion, more relevance there, unless you decide to use them as like a 3 at the back or 5 at the back player, and then you're utilizing the through ball to work with your players in the side positions, right? If you're doing that, then it would make sense, right? But I think the incisive pass would be a little bit more wasteful for a card like that in comparison to Van Dijk, because Van Dijk just has the base mechanics, right? But Eder Militao, he could be good. It's just tough to say whether or not he actually would be, because it's hard to say, right? But yeah, Van Dijk again has 2 different variations, well, a few different variations to be fair, but yeah. Ginola, so this one was from that variation, and then there's also the one from the previous variation as well, which is obviously going to be extinct, because I think he's had like a few different evolutions at this point as well, right? But with this card, 5-star, 5-star yet again, 6'1". Again, you can go in the route of giving him like a hunter, a hawk, right, to increase his physical as well. And again, the dribbling on this card, it's not going to be as rough to work with as it will be on like previous cards when it comes to like physical type attackers, right? So I'm not completely against that for Ginola too, right? Especially in the side positions, like the incisive pass would be really helpful too. Or as like a striker with incisive pass would be pretty nice too, because if you play them in like a false 9 role and then they can utilize that through pass more, it would be really cool, right? Patrick Vieira, I have no idea what this card is like this year. I don't think I've tried him out a single time, or maybe I have, I just don't remember, because sometimes I'll do reviews for the cards and people will have these guys in a team. Actually, I think I may have had Team of the Year Vieira in a squad at one point, and he was pretty good as a CDM. This one gets the incisive pass, and I'm pretty sure he has good base play styles, right? Intercept, bruiser, power header, press proven, relentless. He has a lot of good stuff, to be fair. Block plus is there as well. Incisive pass would actually be an added plus for a card like this, because honestly, your midfielders are actually very helpful when it comes down to the general buildup of your team. So it is always nice to have passing play styles for those cards as well. This Florenzi card, who actually was not poorly priced, in my opinion, during that time period as an SBC, I thought he was actually well priced because, you know, in his case, 5-star weak foot and stuff too. The thing is that with this card, you're keeping him at a 5-star weak foot, so you're kind of wasting the weak foot improvement on the card. However, if you're an AC Milan fan and you want those stat improvements, it is the best variation of his card that, remember, you can play in the right back position, because with this card, if you gave him a shadow chemistry style, his pace is maximized. You can play him in that fullback position, and it would be a card that has, you know, dribbling capabilities while being able to attack as well, right? So if you have like an overlapping fullback, he looks like he could do a really solid job in that position, but he would also do a solid job if you used him as a midfielder as well, right? So this card definitely looks really cool for those variations. It is a little bit of a waste because of the weak foot improvement. If it was a skill move improvement, that'd be insane, right? But obviously, the stat improvements for a card like this and the play styles, they would be very relevant for him, right? Incisive pass, especially in the fullback position, would be a crazy thing to work with, especially if you're playing 4-4-2s, 4-2-3-1s, that sort of deal, right? So it doesn't even matter if you're playing those formations. It's just helpful to work with in general, in my opinion, right? So definitely be on the lookout for that, right? Mateus from the regular icon card also gets one too. So they keep him at a 5-star weak foot. Probably a card that you would yet again give the Shadow Chemistry style to. The added playstyle would be very nice, but I probably wouldn't spend it on the Mateus card if I'm being completely honest with you, right? Oh, I just saw a card here. This card right here. Yeah. Let me see. Nah, this is a significant card. I'll tell you guys why, okay? Dybala's card has really good initial play styles because of the finesse shot more specifically in the 5-star weak foot. But just remember that after that main patch, this is one of the few cards that had a good left stick dribble on him. So giving him stat improvements for that specific area is such a big deal. Okay, really, really big deal that they do that on this card, especially if you don't have the team of the season, right? The team of the season has a lot of good stuff, but if you did not get this card as a pack pull, you're not going to spend the money on him. I know for a fact, because the market could go up and down like crazy, right? But this Dybala card, if you still have that player of the month version, right, during that time period, the 90 rated card, which I actually personally put into an SBC yesterday for the review on somebody, but for me, it's, you guys know I don't really build a team, right? So no problem for me. But with Dybala, this card was incredible. Left stick dribbling was really nice. Attacking AI was really nice. And now you have a card that has a 4-star, 5-star capability because of the weak foot being added on the card, right? So I am definitely with this card for sure. I think as an option, he looks fantastic. I think he would be a really, really good option, to be honest with you. Essien from the Team of the Year icon. So I think that one, or was it this one? I think it was this one that was the SBC. Yes, it was this one that was the SBC. Team of the Year icon gets an improvement. Difference between that card and the Golasso is mainly in the fact that the Golasso can actually have shooting capabilities. But again, incisive pass for midfielders like this, and given the weak foot improvement, would still be very nice. I'm not against this whatsoever, right? Because Shadow Chemistry style does maximize his pace, which is very important because you can maximize his pace while giving him good defensive stats. And that would be the kind of main way of using him. The 72 finishing is low, but like I said, the main way to use this card is kind of to be as your midfielder that defends for you from time to time for the most part, right? This one has a lot of options. This one's actually kind of crazy for sure. Lucio gets one too. I have maybe tried out Lucio, but I don't know. I tried out the fantasy card, and with the center backs that we have nowadays, it would be a little bit more outdated, right? So obviously with this card on an evolution, in comparison to the fantasy card, does receive some pretty significant improvements. But the fantasy card has better dribbling. I'll be honest, the dribbling stat improvement would be a big plus. So would I personally do it on Lucio? No. Center back cards, I'd probably avoid unless it was like a Van Dijk, right? Because Van Dijk is just, he's just that special case, really, right? He's just that special case. Eric Cantona from the Thunderstruck version, so not the SBC version. The Thunderstruck version gets a improvement as well. Again, for an attacker, Incisive Pass would be really cool for him because in his case, you are working with a card who does have good passing capabilities. I feel like you would probably still give this card an engine chemistry style or potentially just a hunter and just work with his dribbling being the way that it is. Because with a card like this on a 5-star capability, right? Because if you look at the previous version of Cantona's card, right, the Thunderstruck version, this card was only a 5-star, 4-star, right? So this is where the playstyle or the evolution makes a little bit more sense to give because he didn't have it before, but now he does. And a 5-star, 5-star, as you guys know in this game, is pretty relevant to work with, right? So 5-star weak foot, you'd probably have to work with his dribbling being the way that it is. You would just use him as a physical type attacker and basically just go from there, right? But yeah, Cantona, good improvements from the evolution as well. Can't really go wrong with that, right? Ronaldo from the Trailblazers, right? Yeah. So Trailblazers has gone up 62k. The Trailblazers version does have the finesse shot plus unleashing potential. I believe the Trailblazers would still improve to this. Yes, because he's only going to go up in price if that would be the case, right? So this is more so like Ronaldo hype. I personally believe that at this point you would have to go to the Team of the Year or Team of the Season version for him to be a proper card to use in the meta of the game, right? Like I've used Ronaldo. He has a very unique attacking AI to him, very different than other people. I think his attacking AI is just like very, it's just, I think it's like the only one, honestly. Like they make him move a certain way for sure. But Yeah, I think with this card, these ones would be a little bit more outdated. Again, Incisive Pass is definitely a W added to the card, but I think at this point in the game, you kind of want to work with like those higher rated cards as much as you possibly can, right? Which one is this one? Oh, wow, look at that. I'm not against this, by the ways. I'm not against this. If you have this card and you're putting it into Incisive Pass, I'm not against it. Because Incisive Pass, as I mentioned many times, for midfielders would be a W. And this card turns into a 5-star player. So he's actually gone up 168k because Zaire Emery is actually a very solid midfielder, right? Incisive Pass for those through passes would be a W. Press Proven for those nice left sticks would be a W. And then he also has a technical to work with too. So with him, there's actually a lot of options to work with too, right? Zaire Emery looks like a beast, right? That's actually a very interesting choice to say the least, right? We have some other options here like Stoichkov. Like obviously, this card as an SBC, if you were constantly getting him, he was significantly cheaper at a certain time period, but this evolution has drastically increased him to be significantly better from the newer version that turns him into a 4-star player. Do I think that this will be more for sentimental value over anything else? Potentially, because like I said, Incisive Pass is a very nice playstyle. This card was released as an SBC with the first touch and the technical. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, man, that card actually surprised me. He performed better than I thought, but it's just the price range of the cards as the SBCs that they released that made them like really, really expensive. This card kind of looks like you would give an engine 2, but you'd be lacking in the pace department, so you'd probably have to just give him a Hawk chemistry style and just utilize the dribbling stats for what it is, which, to be fair, could still potentially be pretty good, because like I said, I've tried out this card as an SBC during that time period, and he kind of did a pretty decent job for me. I actually didn't mind him whatsoever, right? Phil Foden gets one from the informed version as well, turning him into a 4-star. Gonna be completely honest with you, with this card, not a horrible choice if you don't mind the 4-star capabilities, because honestly at this point, this is probably the card you should have. This card was an absolute beast for me. Love him to death, right? Really, really good play styles. So if you were going to go to a Phil Foden, I'd probably prefer those play styles in the team of the season versus, upgrading this inform card into this card. It's a cheaper alternative, yes, but you want to try to get the better version, I would say, for that one, right? Nakata would get an improvement too, turning him into a 4-star, 5-star player. So for people that, were building some sort of like Japanese team, right? Because that was the only main variable to actually unlock him during that time period. Because I don't think people unlock this card that much, to be honest. If you did that variable for your squads and you give him a hunter chemistry style, the card is actually not poorly formatted by any means, right? Because this card has really, really good defensive stats. So the way that you would use him with the evolution especially would be as the card that could be your attacking oriented center mid yet again, right? It would definitely be a card to use in that sort of area, because I think his dribbling feels a certain way regardless of the dribbling stats that they gave him, right? Because he has the average and lean body type, if I remember, because it's been a while since I checked out that card, right? But obviously stat improvements would definitely make a really big deal for this card. Hunter chemistry style makes him a very solid midfielder in a general sense. Like, he has very good play styles. He would definitely do a solid job in that 4-3-2-1, because this card has the 5-star weak foot to work with that finesse shot plus incisive pass, pinged pass as well. Like, he actually has a lot of really cool stuff. So try him out in the, like, if you guys do that card, try him out in the cam position, but definitely looks like an attacking oriented center mid for the most part, right? It definitely looks like that type of player for sure. Okay, moving on. We gotta take breaks in between these segments because a lot of talking. All right. Yeah, so Phil Foden Akacha gets a card too. Oh, this one would actually be significant because he's 5-star, 4-star originally, no? Oh, he's not. Okay, so that's a little bit of a waste then. I mean, it's a waste and it's not a waste. It's like a combination of the two. It's a waste because you would still give him a hunter and you would improve him to be pretty solid, to be fair, right? Some very good improvements. Incisive pass being added would be a big W for him, 100%. I mean, hey, you know what? It looks like a good card. Regardless of him already being a 5-star, the improvements are nice. He has very good playstyle pluses. He has other playstyles that are pretty good too. I actually like a lot of those ones there. So not a bad choice there as well. Actually looks pretty solid. Park Ji-sung from what? From the lower rated version? Lower rated version you can improve. Interesting. Yeah. Good improvements. I think a little bit not outdated, but like he definitely needs more play style. Well, not really actually. The improvements are nice. Because he does have the play styles, to be fair. Yeah, it's not too bad. Good improvements. I don't know if people will spend 100k on that unless it's like sentimental, to be fair. Oh my goodness, how many players did I go through? Jairzinho gets one? Oh, from the base. Okay. I will say right off the bat, Jairzinho doesn't have that same sauce like he did in that 1 year. That 1 year was kind of crazy. This one might actually have sauce. I don't remember what he feels like because I'm pretty sure I did actually use him. And I was actually collecting footage for him, I'm not gonna lie. But just never got him out. But the reason why Jairzinho could be a nice option is because he has a lot of really cool stuff, right? So from the original version, he's a 5-star, 4-star. From this version, you now create a 5-star, 5-star Brazilian skilling type of player, right? He's gone up 175k because of this evolution as well. With this card, it's tough to say what his dribbling would be like at this point in the game, regardless of him being 5'8", because it does work a little bit differently this year. Remember that this card is an average and normal body type player, so you would have to kind of feel that one out and see like, oh, maybe this makes sense, maybe this doesn't make sense, right? That sort of thing. Roberto Carlos gets one from the fullback position. This is not horrible. I mean, you give him an anchor chemistry style, you increase his pace, defense, and physicality. Incisive pass would be a W play style to work with in the left back position. But I'd probably work with someone a little bit more physical, to be fair. Because if he's that short, I'd rather have like better left stick dribbling as well, right? De Jong from the SBC has finally received an upgrade. This card I still have on my SBC account, actually. Honestly, he could be pretty decent, right? The problem is that if you want to use him as like a box-to-box midfielder, his base shooting is not in a good area. You'd have to give him a hunter chemistry style to put him in a better area, but then his shot power is still on the lower side. So you'd keep him on a shadow. I mean, he has some pretty good play styles, to be fair. I liked playing him as like a 1 of 2 CDM for the most part, right? But I would say the shooting would need to be a little bit higher, to be honest with you, right? Di Natale from the regular one gets an improvement as well, turning him into a 4-star, 5-star player. Not horrible on this one. Engine chemistry style would be an interesting one for him because he's 5'7", right? So he actually could still feel pretty agile to work with for the most part. Peter Crouch gets an improvement as well as the physical type attacker. Honestly, the people that utilize that aerial plus, they could actually like this card because the stat improvements puts him in an area where as a physical type attacker, he kind of looks crazy, right? Because this card with physical stats already all in the right areas, you could just give him an engine now, right? Improve his dribbling to be in a very good area. 5-star weak foot on the card, 4-star weak foot, but he's aerial plus. Oh, he's not aerial plus, he's just aerial, I think. Just aerial, okay. I swear he had an aerial plus version though, didn't he? No, maybe I'm tripping. Acrobatic plus though, power header. I mean, aerial with the good jumping, I feel like people would still probably utilize that. I think they would utilize it more on the aerial plus because of the pass back, but yeah, if you're a fan of Peter Crouch, you get a nice upgrade there as well. Brolin gets one with a 5-star weak foot. Again, these cards, they have improved to a point where like you can give them an engine, the shooting is still in a decent area, and then you improve the dribbling, right? Those cards I don't look into too much because I don't think people will go in those directions as much, but it depends too. If this Ben Yedder existed during that time period of him being overpowered, this would be a crazy card. But originally the card was a 4-star, 5-star player. With this improvement, it's a 5-star, 5-star improvement. The weak foot you're not really doing anything with. But with this card, probably give him a hunter chemistry style, have good pace, good shooting. He's got power shot plus, incisive pass, and the chip shot. So it's a couple of, you know, decent playstyle pluses a little bit, you know, a little bit. Messi gets an improvement as well. Extinct or just gone up in price, yeah. I think this is more for people that just want like a lower rated version of Messi without having to pay that much. Like that's where he exists for this card. Because at this point you would have to go with the higher rated versions in my opinion, right? Just to make him like really saucy, but still looks like a decent card to be fair. Oh yeah, there's a few options for this for sure. Definitely a few options. What else do we have here? So we have Valverde from the Radioactive. Honestly, this card could be pretty decent. He could be pretty decent. I will say though, guys, that I use this card. Like I packed him on the first owner accounts when we were doing that content consistently. I didn't like using him in the CDM position over De Jong. I don't know why. De Jong just had like that better positioning and stuff for me personally. Like I wasn't really feeling Valverde that much. You know what? It was funny because like during that time period, I saw like pro players using him, and I was honestly like surprised because I didn't really personally feel like he was like that crazy, but the improvements are definitely nice. I will say that the team of the season version I definitely liked. I thought this card was actually interesting. But again, you know, they give him the nice play styles and stuff too, right? But I always feel like when it's the midfielders, and I feel like you guys are gonna agree with this, when you don't have intercept, like it's so cooked, man. I think intercept is so important because it literally helps them with their positioning and stuff too. How much is this card now? He's gone up a little bit, like not by a lot. The Turkish fans will do this card because the incisive pass is actually a W, and the dribbling is in the 90s area. So if you gave him a hunter, the usability factor with it would definitely be there. Because to be honest, I don't really see him getting a card in the future unless they do some sort of like promo where it's like, oh, you know, young talent that could be something in the future, right? You know, something like that. Salah looks like an interesting choice, to be fair, because originally the card is a 4-star, 3-star player. If you did Tricky Ricardo and then you put him into Incisive Pass Master, the playstyle pluses that he has are all W's, right? And the card is very well formatted for the Hawk chemistry style, right? Dribbling is in a decent area. You would just probably use that for what it is. The physical, shooting, and pace boost would be pretty significant for a card that's 5-star, 5-star. It would be an interesting one, right? If you actually went down that route for the evolutions. Center backs, I don't want to look into too much because obviously they get the stat improvements. I just don't think Incisive Pass is as relevant to give them. Grealish is actually a fan favorite over here. I like this card. His left stick dribbling works better than you expect. I'm not sure if it would still feel the same way nowadays, but on a hunter chemistry style with a 5-star weak foot, finesse shot plus on the card, he looks pretty interesting, right? Like for me personally, I think on a hunter chemistry style, he was a really cool card. I enjoyed using him for what it was. Cam positions, side positions, I felt like he played most of the areas pretty well. So the dribbling improvements for him, I feel like would be a little bit more noticeable because, like I said, his left stick was actually really nice in game. And maybe it's because he has the press proven or whatever it is, but press proven working with a unique body type, because I'm pretty sure his body type is like a unique or something. Yeah, unique. Something there makes his dribbling feel significantly better. And Nkunku gets an improvement too from the winter wild card. Honestly, at this point in the game, if you did do Nkunku's card, you should have done it from this card all the way up until this, right? Like if you were going to really do this card, because this card on these improvements would absolutely cook in game, right? So I think at this point, you probably want to use like that version of Nkunku. This is a cheaper alternative, right? Probably give him a hunter chemistry style, would still be a decent card, but like I said, if you were going to do Nkunku's card, it should be the other version. Because remember, there's always like certain variables that changes these cards, right? With this card, it's a high medium as well, so it adds to him quite a bit in comparison to the card that was a medium. But the playstyle plus is nicely added. It does make him a 5-star, 5-star player as well, right? In comparison to the champs, which is not a 5-star, 5-star. So always interesting to check those things out, right? Claudia Pina, if you guys did the SBC during that time period, you guys know that her finesse shots were very, very solid. She gets some very significant improvements. Probably a card you give a catalyst to or a shadow to, one or the other, because the shooting and the dribbling is already in an area where you wouldn't really touch it too much comparing the chemistry styles. Because at this point, it's like, okay, you could give her an engine, but then do you really want to work with 93 acceleration and sprint speed? I mean, you could, if you use her as a cam and you don't really care too much about the pace, but I feel like you probably would at this point. Griezmann, let me see if the player of the month has gotten an improvement. The player of the month is the more interesting one for me because that card I actually feel like a lot of people probably held on to. He gets the improvements, but some things are a little bit low on the card. Like the pace would have to be higher, right? So with this variation of the card, the pace is a little bit higher. It still keeps him at a 94, right? From the Tricky Ricardo into Incisive Pass, but 5-star, 5-star, right? 5-star, 5-star variation. This team of the season card was pretty interesting to use. If you have this card, then you're obviously chilling, right? But it's an option to work with. Sun has received another card from the Player of the Month version, right? With this card, I will tell you right now, you would have to give him an engine, and I don't think it's going to be as nice as the Team of the Season because he doesn't have the press proven. The Team of the Season having the press proven added to the card quite a bit. You can even see that people are looking at this and they're like, oh, it actually makes sense that he's gone up because the press proven plus adds to the card quite a bit. And obviously, if you've been improving him as the time has gone by, you have a consistently better card if you did like those champs upgrades, right? So there is also that. There's other cards here too. There's like cards like Musiala, Kaká, Olise, Sterling and stuff. Like there's going to be a lot of like the lower rated cards, but the top rated cards for the most part are definitely going to make the most sense. I think there's a few cards. Dybala I think would be really sick if you don't have the Team of the Season, but like some of these top choices, they make a lot of sense for how they could potentially perform in game. But yeah, W Evolution's 100k, but it's 100k worth it because a lot of these improvements are really, really massive for how these cards would generally perform in game. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this video today. I might do a custom tactic video after this one, and I'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.